plaintiff, Olivia Butler, dated the defendant, but she claims after he canceled their plans on Valentine's Day, Olivia saw pictures of him at a club with another woman posted on social media, and she has the pictures in court today. She's suing her ex for a flight, a hotel room, and loans. Defendant James Ramis insists he never cheated on Olivia. And on the Valentine's Day in question, he and Olivia weren't even together. He's countersuing for a down payment on a car and car repairs.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Your Honor, in November of 2019, I met James on an online dating site. We started talking, communicating.
You heard of the Crown laws?
No, Your Honor.
You better be glad they passed, because I don't like your hair, and I dismissed the case.
Well, I'm glad they passed it.
No, I'm making the point. I love your hair. My wife and my daughter from time to time wear their hair like that. And the Crown laws, and that's why I'm stopping to say this, because many people discriminated in the workplace based on hair. And they have new legislation in several states, not all. Several states have Crown laws where if they mention your hair and then you feel some kind, I don't know the exact elements of that are necessary, but I know people can't mess with you about no hair in the workplace anymore. That's what I'm saying. If you want to wear your locks, if you want to wear your crown like you have your braids, and any other way you want to wear your hair. So, Crown laws, I could have thrown you out before. I wouldn't have anyway. As I said, I like your hair. But folks, no one can discriminate against you in many states. So that should be a relief to many people who fear employers and others because of the way they wear their hair. All right, so you all met in November, and how did it go?
Things worked out really great for the next 6 months. We talked on the phone. We used the dating site app to communicate. And so in April of 2020, after about 6 months since we were in the middle of the pandemic, we decided to meet in person. And I felt comfortable enough based on
That's the opposite. You started to meet in person since you're in the pandemic. It should have been the opposite. We decided we stay on social media instead of meeting. But go ahead, y'all wanted some comfort during that COVID.
Right, and it was 6 months later, Your Honor. So
right.
We had been talking for about 6 months, and James is a very charming guy. At the time, he expressed that he wanted to at least try to meet all of the needs. You know, he did everything during that time frame to try to convince me to just trust him during that time. Your Honor, then in about July of 2020, July 4th, we actually took a trip to Mississippi. Prior to that, I guess in June, he started talking about marriage. So things were working out really, really well. They were going very fast, moving very, very fast. He was talking about marriage. We went to see my parents in July. He asked my parents if he could marry me. And my dad kind of smiled. My mom said, I'm not too sure. There's something about that guy. You need to just wait a little bit and just consider what you're doing. And so I'm very thankful for my mom for actually saying that, and you'll understand better as we go through this story.
Now, did he get around to you? I know sometimes you ask parents first, but did he get around to proposing to you?
Well, he asked me, but it was just an ask. There was no ring involved.
Okay.
So he asked,
okay,
but no ring involved. After we returned from that July trip, there were a number of, all of a sudden James did a disappearing act almost on me. So my son was in Mississippi. That was the time for us to get to know each other. We had talked about getting to know each other, but he did a disappearing act, not coming around, not being available. So during that time, I started suspecting that there was someone else, that there were other people that he may have been dealing with. And in December, on December 15th.
What gave you that suspicion?
Just the fact that prior to that, I was seeing him almost every day.
Okay.
He was coming around.
Changing
pattern resulted in me having some suspicion, Your Honor. Mm-hmm. Then in December, on December 15th, I went to visit him. He had been complaining that I would never come to visit him at his home, so I went to visit him at his home. And while I was there, there was a ring at the door. Another female came in, and after about 15 minutes of them going back and forth, he finally introduced us.
Going back and forth doing what?
Talking and arguing.
Arguing.
Yes, Yes, Your Honor. After they went back and forth arguing for about 15 minutes, he finally introduced us. He introduced her by name. He introduced me as his fiance at the time. Once she heard that, she became very surprised that he had a fiance, and she says to him, "Why is it that you have a fiance? I don't know about her, and we're intimately involved." Again, in February,
What did he say?
Sir?
What did he say?
He said, "You know that I have somebody. You already know that you and I aren't together."
Okay.
And so he denied it.
So give me some proof that he did.
So he denied it for the next 2 months. Then in February, because that was a really catastrophic to our relationship, because the fact that she showed up and she felt very comfortable just walking through the house.
Got it.
By February, we had talked about it.
One more question about
Yes, Your
that
Honor.
scenario. When he said, "You know we're not together," what did she say?
She said, "You know we've been together." She actually said, "We've been together." And she gave some dates, like very close. And I asked a question. I asked him the question because I didn't know her. She didn't know me. So she doesn't owe me anything.
Right.
So I asked him, "When was the last time you all were intimately involved?" And his response to me was, "Ask her, since she's the one."
And what did
talking."
she say?
She said last week.
There you go. All right. And did he say anything after
He said,
that?
I wasn't with her. And he kept continuing to deny it.
Good enough.
And so from December to February, he tried to convince me that she was lying to me. In February, on February 14th, Valentine's Day, we decided that we were going to have a conversation to decide whether we were going to try to continue our relationship or not. So we said, we'll have dinner, we'll get together on February 14th. He had a pattern of changing and canceling plans at the last minute. Again, on Valentine's Day, he canceled the plan, and this time...
Did he?
He did. He said he had to go to work. I've been called into work.
That's a bad sign.
It is.
Go ahead.
I've been called into work.
You got a lot of visiting. All right, go ahead. A lot of flowers to drop off, Doc. What time you go to sleep?
I used to go about 2 in the morning.
2 in the morning, where he was still dropping off flowers and he just couldn't get to you. You was asleep. He was trying to get to you at 3 with your flowers. And he went to the first one at 8. She didn't let him out until 9. She made him eat. Then he came up with some, "Oh, I ain't feeling good." Ooh. So Lee, I gotta go. See, he laughing, he know. Then he gets over to the other lady's house. It took him a little travel time because she stayed across town. He keep them separate across town from each other. So he didn't get there at 10. She's shaking her head. She know I know too. So he get there at 10, the second one, right?
Right.
Hey, babe. Hi, I was expecting you for dinner. Oh, I'm sick, but hey, ain't no sickness gonna stop me from seeing you. Here go these flowers and a glass of wine. And they sit up there, and then, baby, I'm sorry, I'm gonna be bad company. Whew, got out of that. Go get his next set of flowers.
Cross her off the list.
Yeah, cross her off the list. So that's what happened. They'll hold it against him.
And I asked a question. I asked him the question because I didn't know her, she didn't know me. So she doesn't owe me anything.
Right.
So I asked him, when was the last time you all were intimately involved? And his response to me was, ask her, since she's the one.
What did she say?
She said last week.
There you go.
Defendant James Ramis is being sued by his ex-girlfriend, who claims she caught James cheating after another woman came to his home and confessed to their affair.
So he changed plans on Valentine's Day. What did he say to change? The reason?
He had to go to work. However, Your Honor, if you look at evidence on pages 1 to 3, you will see that he was out on Valentine's Day living his best life with another female, and there are pictures to prove it on pages 1 to 3. Pictures that he posted and pictures that the young lady.
I don't see him. That's not him. I don't see him. Leave that man alone. He ain't cheated on you. He ain't done nothing on you. Let me hear from you, sir.
How you doing? I met Olivia. We had an awesome relationship. And the situation she's talking about Valentine's Day, we were still having disagreements about these loans and stuff, and we wasn't on really good terms. We wasn't even together on Valentine's Day as far as in a relationship, because Olivia decided to leave me alone after some other events happened in December. When the girl came to the house, I tried to explain. I told Olivia I didn't touch her, which I didn't. Didn't mess with her, period. The girl had a son that was...
I see you about to get yourself in
Now the girl had a...
stuck with her story. You could even stuck with her story would have been better. So you should have said, see, Judge, you heard what she said.
The woman didn't even have no date to give her. Because if I'd have did it and Olivia was there and that girl would have came up, I'd have admitted if I was wrong. Because we had other situations going up to even a lead for me even to talk to the other lady. I mean, the other lady never got intimate as an ex-girlfriend from some years ago.
What you doing over your house with no clothes on?
She wasn't at my house with no clothes on. She wasn't even supposed to show up. And Olivia showed up that day not telling me she was coming. She got there right when I got off work. I got in the shower. A few minutes after I got in the shower, the other young lady knocks on the door, and I let her in. I'm thinking,
what y'all taking a shower together for?
And I'm thinking nothing of it. I introduced.
What are you and the young lady taking a shower together for?
Olivia was in the house while I was taking a shower.
You just said you took a shower.
No.
We took a shower.
No, I didn't even take a shower with her that day.
Go ahead.
And the girl came in. I introduced Olivia. She say, well,
go ahead.
Well, that's your woman. I didn't know nothing about her. And me and you did. I can't say all the words she said in court, but she said you did this, and this to me. I said, no, I didn't. And she stuck to her story. And then later on that day, her and Olivia was still communicating or whatever. Olivia and her was on the phone. She comes back to my door at 11 o'clock at night.
Olivia or
the other girl. But they're on the phone and Olivia called, ain't that Jamie at your front door? So they start communicating.
Coordinating. That's just
coordinating. And I feel like that's what caused me and Olivia's relationship to go back. We had an awesome relationship. And I tried to explain to Olivia, I didn't mess with that lady because I wanted me and Olivia's relationship. Since then, me and Olivia, before a couple of weeks ago, I was calling her, checking on Olivia, can we please fix our stuff? Can we please fix our stuff?
What'd you have to do Valentine's night?
Valentine's Day night, I was bored. I went out on a date. Went to House of Soul on Washington.
You say you lied to her and said you had to work.
I did work that morning, and I got off at 6 o'clock.
See, that's when she wanted to be with you after 6.
She ain't going to no club.
Dinner, a romantic dinner. You ever heard of that?
Yeah, I heard of it. I messed up, but we was having problems. Mr. Your Honor, and I just didn't go over that.
Okay.
I didn't go over that. We was having problems, so I didn't go over that. Because when she gets angry, it's a whole different ball game. So I get scared of Olivia sometimes, so I didn't go over there that night. I didn't think it was safe.
You get scared of her, why?
Because she a gangster.
Oh, well.
She a Mississippi gangster.
Judgment for Olivia. Didn't get me messed up. Judgment for Olivia.
I wasn't going over there.
What part of Mississippi gangster is she?
I'm from Silver Creek, Mississippi, Your Honor.
What is that near? Jackson?
It's about 70 miles southeast of Jackson.
Okay, got it. All right, tell me about the loans you're suing them about, or the flight and the hotel and the loans.
So, Your Honor, in about May of 2020,
you still bothering with him?
I'm still bothering with him, yes. James told me that he had to go to Valdosta, Georgia to sell some land that he owned there. However, he did not have the monies for him to get his flight, his hotel, and his car. He needed to borrow the money, and he would get it back to me as soon as the land sold. And we all know 3 days.
At least it was land.
Well, yes, 3 days,
I
2
used
weeks.
to sell the Detroit River. When I was conning women back in the day. Baby, I gotta leave for a minute. I gotta sell Detroit River. Got a man bidding on it. Okay, well, I need a few $100 just so I can get a suit and look good. So, cause he ain't gonna buy the river from me if I don't look right. So this was land. Okay.
It's land.
Land, not river, land. All right. At least he gave you land game. You got a lot of visiting. All right, go ahead. A lot of flowers to drop off, Doc. What time you go to sleep?
I used to go about 2 in the morning.
2 in the morning, where he was still dropping off flowers and he just couldn't get to you. You was asleep. He was trying to get to you at 3 with your flowers.
Defendant James Ramis is being sued by his ex-girlfriend, who claims she caught James cheating after another woman came to his home and confessed to their affair.
So what happened?
So, Your Honor, he gets there, he comes back, he never pays me. And
what does he say about this big land deal? That's what I want to hear about.
he said that he closed. The following week, he then said, "Oh, there's a water bill," and I'm using air quotes, that has to be paid before they can finalize and get me my money. So there was more money that he needed to borrow.
He's pretty good.
And all of that is listed there. And then from June to December, there were multiple things that he needed monies for. And I think he knew how to tug at my heart. So he told me that on September 10th, that his youngest son's mother had died, and that after his son's mother died, he needed to get a place for he and his youngest son to live so that he could provide covering and housing for his son. Then he says, "Oh, well, they're coming out and they're going to inspect the house, and I have to have a refrigerator and a stove." So the house that he rented, I helped him to get the monies for the down payment. I helped him the next month. I was like, "You need to make sure you have the money." The next month, he didn't have the money for his rent. Then he's supposedly getting his son. He needs a stove and this refrigerator. I help him get that. And then, Your Honor, the son has never stayed in this house. But because he knows that children are my heart, he used that.
Now, how about the passing of the son's mother?
I'm not sure that she's dead, Your Honor. I don't trust that she is truly dead, because if she was, why would the biological father not have the child?
My son lives in my house right now, and I say this on national TV. And me and Olivia didn't trust that stuff because of that stuff with that girl. I heard Olivia's feelings with that stuff with that other woman that I never slept with, and that's the only reason I feel
What about repayment of all these loans?
Repayment of these debts, I agreed to $2,769 of the debts because I borrowed a couple of them things she did on that debt list. She did it because we had an account together. And she took care of the account because it had her name on it because of her position at her job, which I had overdraft protection on the account. And she paid it because she said she couldn't have nothing on that on her record for the things. So I never asked her to pay the $480-something on this list for them overdraft fees. She did that because the account had both our names.
I see a promissory note on the list of evidence. So, you have a note where you had him sign it, ma'am, agreeing to repay?
Yes, Your Honor. And
so why are you suing for more than the amount that he agreed to pay?
Yes, sir. That was a promissory note for the $900 for the house, for the rents on the house. You loaned him
how much more after that?
After that date. So everything after the promissory note, Your Honor?
Because otherwise you should have put it in here.
Oh, after that date, the only thing that I gave him was for the refrigerator and the stove after that.
And he everything was to repay you?
Every bit of it, Your Honor.
Why didn't you add that to or amend the promissory note?
Because he was actually at his house, which is about an hour away, and so he needed to go pick those devices up. How much you say you owe, sir?
$2,769.
$2,769.
And the only reason I haven't paid on it is because we had another transaction we did, which I paid a down payment on a 2016 Jeep. Pay for some repairs other than
we're going to get to that. That's your counterclaim for $3,850.
Yes, sir. My counterclaim for it, she put a Jeep on July 14th and her name because my credit was not good enough to get it. That said, property she's talking about in Valdosta, Georgia, they was trying to give me $800,000 for it. It's worth $14 or $15 million. She said herself at the time.
They tried to give me 1.2 for the Detroit River.
Then,
I'm like you, I wouldn't take it either.
And then she said, baby,
River.
She said, baby, I won't take that $800,000.
I was insulted. Weren't you insulted when they offered you $800,000?
Yeah, I was insulted, but I was insulted. And then it came to a point she signed for my Jeep. I was paying the payments. And before the grace period, which she don't agree with grace periods, 2 days after this incident happened with that girl, she came out, she said, well, asked me a question about that situation. She didn't like the answer I gave her. So she said, well, I'm coming to get your car. She came and got my car, but I had just paid my car payment 2 days before that to her. And I paid a down payment.
How much is your down payment?
Down payment was $2,000.
And the repairs?
And I had to fix a spindle, not counting on what was covered under warranty, was $1,700.
All right, I'll get back to her and we'll ask her about that. He says you breached the contract.
And we had a verbal agreement.
You need to be quiet.
Oh, all right.
Discuss, ma'am, the car.
So, Your Honor, on June 15th, we did go in and start looking at, he found a car. He said he was going to get a car after he got this land money. You will see on there, Your Honor, that I am saying that he contradicted himself. The down payment on this car was only $1,000. That's on page 36 of this evidence. It is at $1,000 that he actually paid down on the car, with the agreement and understanding that he would actually keep up the payments on a monthly basis, ensure that the payments were made and the insurance claims were made.
You have the car. You took it back.
I took it back because
What
he was 3
reason
months
did
behind.
you take it back?
It wasn't
Because he had missed the August payment, he had missed November
Did you say you
payment,
didn't?
he had
That
missed
wasn't-
December
she got
payment.
that
Did
money
you
from
miss
her.
any payment?
No,
Did
she
you
got-
get there at 10, the second one, right?
Right.
Hey, babe. Hi, I was expecting you for dinner. Oh, I'm sick, but you know, hey, ain't no sickness gonna stop me from seeing you.
Defendant James Ramis is being sued by his ex-girlfriend, who claims she caught James cheating after another woman came to his home and confessed to their affair.
That was an illegal repossession because you got mad about him and this girl, so you take the car back, you breach the contract you have with him. How much you say you owe, sir? That's all you're getting, ma'am. $2,769, and on the payment of your car is how much? Sir, are you asking for the down payment was $2,000? She said it was $1,000. You have
I'm asking for-
you have evidence of the $2,000?
No, I just.
All right, very good.
All right.
1,850 for car repairs. Do you have that?
No, she has.
All right, all you're getting is the 1,000 she acknowledges. Have a good day. That's your judgment.
I can't believe you said my payment was 3 months behind when you got it, Olivia. And that's not true. You just got my payment the day before you came and took the car. And I don't have no problem with taking care of what I owe you. But when you took that car from me, that took money out of my pocket too. You did this stuff because you was hurt over that stuff with Jamie. I never did that stuff with Jamie. I'm staying on national TV, and I stayed in front of Jesus. I never touched that girl in the first place.
He knows that he's lying. He made multiple promises that he was going to bring me the money, not only for that, but for other things that he had borrowed from me. And now he's here on national television asking for the money back for this car. I never wanted a Jeep. I didn't ask for it.
You've been driving it like it's yours?
I'm driving it like it's mine because it's in my name.
Plaintiff Valerie Webley says the defendant was engaged to her son, and Valerie loved her as if she were her own daughter. However, she's suing her today for unpaid loans and postage fees. Defendant Tanya Edge says Valerie's son was physically abusive, and he not only tried to strangle her, but he also threatened her with a knife. And then Valerie bailed him out of jail. Tanya's countersuing for emotional distress.
All right, start with you, ma'am.
Well, I thought Tanya was going to be our daughter-in-law. She was engaged to our son, and we've known her for 5+ years. We loved her like a daughter. She loved us like her real parent. She called me mom. She called my husband dad. We loved her very much. And I really do miss her. But we just didn't come into agreement with getting money that she owes. And I really think she got scammed. I just didn't think it'd ever come to this.
Okay. That's why you all fell out. So you never fell out before?
Never.
How about her and your son? Did you see much of their relationship? Did they live with you guys?
No,
Oh.
They lived in Racine. We live in Janesville, Wisconsin.
Okay.
No, I'm sure like every relationship, everybody has problems. And I always thought they were really good for each other because he helped her. She helped him.
Go ahead, let me hear from you, ma'am.
Okay, like Valerie said, she was a mom to me, and her husband was like a dad to me. I loved the whole family, and just like her, I miss them very much. However, in July of this past summer, 2021, Eric, her son, started having crazy, angry fits over things. Sometimes I didn't even know what it was about. And then when August came around, he became physically abusive. He threw things at me. He tried to strangle me. He held a knife to me, and then he threatened to kill me. So on August 23rd, I was able to finally get to the courthouse and file for a restraining order. On the 25th of August, I got a call from the deputy sheriff who asked me to come downstairs from our apartment and meet him outside because they were parked out of sight. And he wanted to confirm that Eric was in the home, and I confirmed that for him. And he asked me to please wait downstairs. And everything after that point became total chaos. He was fighting the police. There were approximately 10 officers besides the sheriff deputy that were trying to restrain him. And they also had to tase him to get him restrained and out of our home. And he was placed in jail. And the very next day, on the 26th, he signature bonded out. And then I called the DA.
You didn't tell his mom and dad all this?
Oh, I told Valerie all about it. I told Valerie because Valerie told me that she messaged me one day and asked me how he's doing and said, Eric said things were really good between us. And I was like, no, they're not. And I told her everything.
Well, she says your problems are like everybody's.
No, they weren't.
That's what she says, and I don't remember hitting a woman, ever. I don't remember fighting with the police. Well, perhaps running primarily, not fighting.
No, that's why I said it took 10 officers and him being tased.
Defendant Tanya Edge was engaged to the plaintiff's son until he physically abused her by strangling her and threatening her with a knife.
Ma'am, you want to address this? She says you knew and everything else.
I'm not sure. I know Tanya said this, and I thought I believed her at the time, but she's lied to me so much about sending me my money. How can I know she's telling me the truth?
Okay.
And Eric seems, since he stopped drinking, he seems like such a calm person.
When did he stop drinking?
4 years ago.
3 or 4 years ago, and he hasn't relapsed into drinking, ma'am?
No, actually, he hasn't.
Okay, let me stop you. So, you're saying, ma'am, when she told you, at that point, did you believe her or not? You're saying today, I don't know whether to believe her because she hadn't paid the money, and if she's dishonest about the money, she might be dishonest about this. How about before the money? She told you before the money, didn't you? Did you tell her about the physical abuse before the money, ma'am?
I did mention that he was starting to have anger fits and that he, at that point, had thrown an item at me and hit me in the side of the face.
You told her that before the loan?
Yes.
Ma'am, you blamed it on, you don't know whether to believe her because of this. What about then? It happened before this.
Eric did admit when it was dark out, he did throw the phone and hit her. And he said he apologized. He was very sorry.
And you think every couple goes through that? You think that's normal?
She wanted the phone.
No, I'm asking you, do you think that, I'm saying, do you think what your son did was normal?
Not about the phone. He was sorry.
Whatever the incident. I didn't ask you whether he was sorry. We're dealing with abuse, and that's why I keep asking you, do you think that's normal? Because I don't want our viewers to believe what you said. You said the normal ups and downs of a relationship. Go ahead. Let me hear more about how her son abused you.
Okay, Your Honor. He did not throw a phone at me. Mm-hmm. He threw a different object at me, striking me in the face. And the only way that could have happened is if he was aiming for me because I was partially blocked by a wall. And so then I grabbed my phone to call the police. And that's when he smacked the phone out of my hand and took it, and also refused to let me leave the apartment so I could go somewhere and use someone's phone to call the police. And then he is the type of person that when he gets angry, he'll make threats that aren't genuine, but I know when they're genuine threats. And he honestly means it. And he said he was going to kill our landlord, before August 31st, and he found out I warned the landlord about that, and then he found out that I notified the landlord that he ripped a window off our bedroom wall out of anger and all of that. And so he pinned me on the bed, because I stayed in the bedroom all the time, by my throat, and told me that I better not tell that landlord anything else or there would be big problems.
Okay. Now, with regard to the bail, you say the judge let him out on bail for how much?
Yeah, they dropped 3 charges, so he got a signature bond for a misdemeanor A charge.
Wow.
And it was the next day that I called the DA. They reviewed it, they issued new charges, and he was rearrested.
Good.
Placed back in jail.
Defendant Tanya Edge was engaged to the plaintiff's son until he physically abused her by strangling her and threatening her with a knife.
Was he ultimately convicted?
That case is still pending.
All right. And
However, sorry. Go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
When I would talk to Valerie about the situation, he had been physically abusive with previous relationships, and she agreed with me that is where he belonged, was in jail. And on September 2nd, she posted his cash bail, getting him released, and therefore, again, putting my life in danger and causing me emotional distress.
No, the judge put your life in danger. If you want to blame someone, you'd have to blame
Well, she
the judge.
bailed him out.
But the judge set the
After
bail. The judge set the bail. So
Right.
the mother's doing what a mother does, bail their son out and wait on the trial, because they may not believe that their child did it, and their child may not have. And so, yes, when there's a bond available, unless that person has repeatedly done that, then the mother has no real reason to conclude that it happened. Now, ma'am, she says it has happened several times with other women. Is that correct?
Yes.
He has beat other women. Do you think
No, not beat other men. He just was drinking and had fights with them, but nothing.
touching?
Never
Did he
heard
touch
anything.
them? Did he touch them?
Yes.
And no, it's not the normal ups and downs of a relationship. The other women, do you think that was normal ups and downs in a relationship? Or is it just when he was beating her, you believe that was normal ups and downs of a relationship?
No, I don't agree with those other relationships, but
Just her.
that time.
Okay. Did you all live together? You and her son?
Yes, we did.
How long?
We had been living together approximately 4 to 5 years.
Okay, and what was the money to be used for or used for?
That is money that was going into an account for me to move out of the home away from her son.
Did you tell her that? I was just curious.
Yes.
Did she tell you that, ma'am?
No.
What did she tell you?
She told me
needed
she
it
was
for?
getting this $33,000 loan to make her and Eric's life better. And they could afford to live in a nice house, and they'd be debt-free, and they'd be so happy like that.
The loan, ma'am, she's suing you about.
Okay.
Why shouldn't you have to pay?
I agreed to pay the overnight shipping cost for the loan amount. That is all I agreed to.
How much is that?
I believe it's like $115.
With regard to your counterclaim, the emotional distress is for what?
I have had to call the police because she was constantly calling me, and she said
Calling
it
you
was
how
not on
often?
his behalf, but it was.
Calling you how often?
Sometimes 2, 3, 4 times a day.
What was she saying?
She was just leaving messages telling me to call her. And
Why wouldn't
the
you?
times that I did answer, she was asking me stuff about her son, which was a violation of the restraining order.
All right. And ma'am, what do you say to calling her 2 to 4 times a day?
I've never called her.
You've never
I've
called
never
her?
ever called.
All right. She said she's never called you. Do you have any evidence of her calling you?
And when I called the police the last time, they took a picture of the phone call, and
Did you bring it with you?
they called. I did not, because I didn't have the picture. And also many times.
All right,
it
we're
would
going to
be
move on
Facebook
then. You don't
Messenger
have it.
blowing up.
All right, ma'am, you don't have it. And you have no evidence to prove that she was calling you.
Defendant Tanya Edge was engaged to the plaintiff's son until he physically abused her by strangling her and threatening her with a knife.
Ma'am, what proof do you have that it was a loan that she agreed to repay you?
I have my papers with the checks that I sent, that we
Does
sent.
it say loan on it?
It wasn't written out by me. It was written out. It was a cashier's check to a loan company that she wanted to start this $33,000 loan.
Okay.
And
It would have been
the first check-
escrow
Do
company.
you have any evidence that it was a loan?
This is on page 12. I do need the total amount we owe you. That way I can get a cashier's check and send it to you.
Let me hear about the total amount.
The amount was discussed over the phone, but there are pictures of the check that she wanted
Ma'am,
me to send.
That doesn't prove to me,
trans-
ma'am, that doesn't prove to me it was a loan. Do you have anything that proves it was a loan? Your son, her ex-boyfriend, they did live together for 5 years, which, as you said, you expected them to be together forever. As you said, we love her dearly. That's the person you give money to. You do give money to your son and his family. And particularly, you love his girlfriend, so you have to prove to me it's a loan.
Well, Tanya blocked me when she kept saying she was going to give me the check that she owed me because she got her $33,000. And I told her, I think you were scammed, Tanya. She wasn't scammed. On page 22, it says,
It was not a scam, and this is you, ma'am, I'm reading now, and you will receive your money this week. I have been crazy busy packing up to this entire apartment trying to find a place to move. Means she's got to get away from your son, like she said. Not to get a place for them, ma'am, like you tried to tell me. No, she told you that she was trying to get away. I think finding a home and myself is the top of my list. I found a place. I can focus on other things like paying you back just like I promised. I will be going to the bank tomorrow. Ma'am, you gave a commitment to pay the loans. And so your claim for emotional distress is dismissed. Both of you are dishonest. You're dishonest and in denial about your son. And ma'am, you're just a straight up liar about saying that you never agreed to pay it. I read the text. Have a good day. That's why your claim
I'm glad
is
you read the
Bye. Your claim is dismissed and yours is granted. Go to court and deal with it in court, ma'am, regarding the case.
He will be put behind bars. I still love her and the entire family. I never set out to hurt anyone. And that by bailing Eric out of jail, I've seen messages he sent to friends in town, and he says he doesn't give a flying about the restraining order. You even agreed you were done helping him out and stuff because of all of the past problems. And then you still bail him out, which until I move, I do not feel safe because he has said he will return to Racine, to people he used to work with. And he convinced those people he was the victim of domestic abuse when there is no way I could overpower him. So I have no idea, if he'll show up in town or when.